although the Arctic and Antarctic climates are quite similar. There are no penguins to be found in the Arctic. However, not all penguin species live in the Antarctic either. Some even breed just a few hundred kilometers from the equator. You can also find penguins living in Africa, and even in Australia. All of this awaits in all 19 species of penguin and how they survive the cold. Penguins are a group of flightless birds that live almost exclusively in the southern hemisphere. They are remarkably adapted to life in the water, with dark and white plumage and flipper-like wings for swimming. The International Ornithologists Union recognizes penguin species as being classified into 6 genera and 18 species. The genus Aptenodytes represents the earliest diverging group in the evolutionary history of the order Spheniciformes. They are known as the Great Penguins due to being the largest members of the family. This is also the only group of seabirds known to reflect ultraviolet light from the surface of their bills. Both species within the Aptenodytes genus live primarily in the southern hemisphere, concentrated along the Antarctic ice edge and the subantarctic islands. The emperor penguin is the largest living penguin species on Earth, standing between 1.1 and 1.22 meters tall and weighing between 35 and 40 kilograms on average. They are mostly found along the coastlines of Antarctica, primarily between latitude 66 degrees and 77 degrees south. Breeding populations have been recorded in at least 61 colonies, each ranging in size from a few hundred to over 20,000 breeding pairs. Unlike many other penguin species, the emperor penguin does not display territorial behavior. Instead, they gather in rookeries, where densities can reach up to 19 individuals per square meter during the winter season. Their highly social lifestyle is evident both on land and in the water, particularly in their tendency to huddle tightly together for warmth when temperatures drop extremely low. To move across the ice, they use a unique form of locomotion known as tobogganing, sliding on their bellies while pushing with their flippers and feet to conserve energy. The breeding season begins in March or April, during the coldest time of the year in Antarctica. The emperor penguin is the only species that breeds during the Antarctic winter. To survive in such intense cold, emperor penguins have the highest feather density among all bird species, up to 100 feathers per square inch. In addition, a thick layer of fat and their short bills and flippers help minimize heat loss. They regulate body temperature by cooling the blood flowing to their extremities and warming it again before it returns to the heart, while the soles of their feet are covered with specialized fat that insulates against frost. The surface of their feathers can even be colder than the surrounding air, a strange but effective method of insulation. After courtship, the female lays a single egg in May or June. The emperor penguin's egg is one of the smallest relative to body weight among all birds, weighing about 450 grams, or around 2.3% of the mother's body weight. After laying the egg, the female transfers it to the male and leaves the colony to forage at sea. The emperor penguin's diet consists mainly of fish, especially Antarctic silverfish, along with squid and small crustaceans such as krill. They are the deepest diving birds in the world, with average dive depths of about 250 to 300 meters, though some individuals have been recorded reaching depths of 535 meters. Typical dive durations range from 3 to 6 minutes, with the longest recorded dive lasting up to 22 minutes. On land, the male incubates the egg on top of his feet, covered by a fold of abdominal skin known as the brood pouch. The incubation period lasts around 65 days, during which the male does not eat at all and may lose up to 45% of his body weight. If the chick hatches before the female returns, the male can produce a milk-like substance from his esophagus to feed the chick for up to 2 weeks. The female typically returns in July or August, bringing food and taking over the care of the chick. Newly hatched chicks have almost no feathers and are entirely dependent on their parents for warmth and nourishment. After the early growth stage, the chicks are gathered into groups known as creche, clusters of young penguins watched over by a few adults, allowing parents to take turns foraging at sea. In some cases, Females that have lost their own chicks may attempt to adopt another's, though such efforts usually fail due to intervention by nearby females. Ranking second in size is the king penguin, which stands between 79 and 94 centimeters tall and weighs between 13.6 and over 20 kilograms, depending on the season and individual condition. Unlike the emperor penguin, the king penguin chooses snow-free valleys and coastal areas near the sea with more stable temperatures for living and breeding. They are found exclusively on sub-Antarctic islands, where the climate is cool and the ice and snow conditions are relatively stable. Each year, the king penguin undergoes a molting period that lasts about 3 to 4 weeks, during which it is unable to feed. To survive this phase, it must accumulate a significant amount of body fat, sometimes increasing its body weight by 50 to 70% beforehand. Each breeding season, the king penguin lays only a single egg, which can happen at any time between November and April. The chick rearing cycle lasts between 10 and 13 months, one of the longest among birds, because the young penguin requires 12 to 14 months to become independent. King penguin chicks are covered in thick brown down that helps them retain warmth in the cold environment. At around 6 weeks of age, the chicks gather into groups called creche. In these groups, a few adult penguins watch over and protect them, while their parents take turns foraging. This results in a single colony often hosting penguins that are incubating eggs, 6-week-old chicks, and even individuals nearly a year old who have not yet left the group. The next group is the brush-tailed penguins, which are primarily found along the Antarctic coastline, with their range extending northward to include some sub-Antarctic islands. The Adelie penguin was the first species to diverge from other members of the genus Pygoscelis around 19 million years ago, where they can access open water for hunting. Adelie penguins primarily feed on krill, small fish, and other crustaceans. Their underwater vision is highly sensitive, allowing them to detect prey based mainly on light and movement. They hunt both during the day and at night, depending on the light cycle and prey availability. As spring arrives, they return to breeding areas located deep inland or on ice-free islands. This is a characteristic migratory journey that can span several hundred kilometers. The species is generally monogamous, and many pairs tend to stay together through multiple breeding seasons. You may have heard the story of the 2 male penguins, Roy and Silo, at the Central Park Zoo in New York. They were chinstrap penguins who formed a strong bond when they shared an egg, and later raised a female chick together. Chinstrap penguins can be distinguished from Adelie penguins by a distinctive black line of feathers under their chin, which resembles a strap. They are considered one of the most assertive penguin species, especially when it comes to protecting their nesting territories. When raising their young, both the male and female care equally for 2 chicks, without abandoning the first chick as many bird species often do. During the incubation period, this species engages in ultra-short bursts of sleep, called microsleeps, which can occur up to 600 times per hour, adding up to about 11 hours of sleep each day. Often seen swimming alongside chinstrap penguins during foraging trips is the gentoo penguin. This species primarily inhabits sub-Antarctic islands, such as the Falkland Islands, Kerguelen, South Georgia, South Sandwich, Staten, South Orkney, and Macquarie Island. They are year-round residents of the Falkland Islands, which recorded the world's largest breeding population of gentoo penguins in 2010, with approximately 121,500 pairs. Occasionally, rare individuals with a condition called leucism appear, displaying pale or nearly all-white plumage. During the summer, while raising their chicks, gentoo penguins tend to take short foraging trips during the day and return by late afternoon. They are coastal foragers and typically stay within 20 to 26 kilometers of the shoreline. Some nesting colonies are located up to 5 kilometers inland and are connected to the sea by well-worn paths known as penguin highways. Chicks often engage in a behavior called chase chick. They must run after their parents to be fed, which not only builds physical strength, but also helps them learn how to venture into the sea independently. Their first molt begins in late January, and by the end of February, they are ready to leave the nest and start life in the ocean. The Gentoo penguin is recognized as the fastest swimming penguin species, capable of reaching speeds up to 36 kilometers per hour. Like many other penguins, they use a swimming style called porpoising, where they repeatedly leap above the water's surface to breathe while maintaining high speed. In contrast to the genus Aptenodites, the genus Eudyptula includes the smallest penguins, known as little penguins. They range in height from only 30 to 45 centimeters and weigh around 1 to 1.5 kilograms when fully grown. Their feathers on the back and head are a shade of blue or slate gray, while the belly is bright white, giving them the nickname blue penguin. Most of their day is spent hunting at sea, while nighttime is when they return to land to rest and tend to their nests. Nesting colonies can number in the thousands of pairs. The highest population densities have been recorded in Oamaru, Chatham Island, and the Banks Peninsula of New Zealand. This species displays strong social behavior and a wide range of vocal communication. Each individual has a unique vocal signature that helps it identify its mate or chick in crowded environments. Little penguins are generally monogamous, forming long-term bonds with their partners and often returning to the same nesting site each breeding season. However, some cases of divorce have been observed in the wild. Little penguins were once considered a single taxonomic unit under the scientific name Eudyptula minor. However, mitochondrial DNA studies conducted since 2002 have revealed a clear split between two genetic lineages. One group, distributed across New Zealand's North Island, the Cook Strait region, and Chatham Island, remains classified as Eudyptula minor. The remaining group is the Australian little penguin, now recognized as a distinct species with the scientific name Eudyptula novae hollandiae. This species is native to the southern coast of Australia, ranging from Tasmania, Victoria, Western Australia, and South Australia to the Jervis Bay area. Major colonies include Phillip Island, which is estimated to host over 40,000 individuals, along with Kangaroo Island and Bruny Island. One distinguishing feature of this species, setting it apart from the New Zealand lineage, is its ability to double brood. The sole representative of the genus Megadiptes is the yellow-eyed penguin, also known by its Maori name, hoiho. It is easily recognized by the pale yellow band of feathers that circles its eyes and extends to the back of its head. This species is native to New Zealand and is also one of the rarest penguins on Earth, currently classified as endangered by the International Union for Conservation of Nature. Unlike penguin species that nest in dense colonies in Antarctica, the yellow-eyed penguin chooses a more solitary approach to breeding. They nest far apart, sometimes up to 1 kilometer inland, in coastal forests, low shrubland, or quiet hillsides along the eastern coast of South Island, Stewart Island, and the Auckland Islands. Because of this nesting behavior, researchers refer to their breeding areas as habitats, rather than colonies. The yellow-eyed penguin is almost exclusively a bottom-feeding species. The genus name Megadiptes comes from ancient Greek and means great diver. About 90% of their dives are benthic dives, typically occurring at depths between 40 and 120 meters. Each day, they may undertake several foraging trips that span 12 to 20 kilometers, depending on sea conditions and food availability. Among them, the macaroni penguin stands out as a particularly recognizable member, known for its striking black and white plumage and its iconic vivid orange-yellow crest. The name macaroni may originate from 18th century English slang used to describe people who dressed in flamboyant, fashionable styles. The macaroni penguin is the most numerous penguin species in the world and ranks 5th in population size among Antarctic penguins. Current estimates suggest there are around 6.3 million breeding pairs, nearly 18 million individuals, a sharp decline from previous estimates of 9 million pairs. Their main distribution is centered on subantarctic islands such as Crozet, Kerguelen, Heard, and McDonald, with the largest population found on South Georgia, home to around 3 million individuals. After the breeding season, they embark on long winter migrations, spending about 6 months entirely at sea. During this time, they spread across a vast range, covering more than 3 million square kilometers in the southern Indian Ocean. They are especially concentrated in the polar frontal zone, between latitudes 47 degrees and 49 degrees south and longitudes 70 degrees to 110 degrees east. Once considered a subspecies of the macaroni penguin, the royal penguin is now recognized as a distinct species. It is found only on Macquarie Island and nearby islands, such as the Bishop and Clerk Islets. Occasionally, individuals are seen wandering to Tasmania, the Antarctic coast, and other regions. However, they breed exclusively in the Macquarie region. Royal penguins are highly social birds, breeding in densely packed colonies, though each individual maintains a personal nesting space of about 2 square meters. The current population is estimated at around 850,000 breeding pairs, with one of the largest colonies located at Herd Point on Macquarie Island, home to about 500,000 pairs. Meanwhile, the northern rockhopper penguin primarily inhabits the waters of the South Atlantic and Indian Oceans. This species has a narrow and distinctive distribution, breeding mainly on remote islands such as Tristan da Cunha and Gough Island, with smaller populations found on Amsterdam and St. Paul Islands. Occasionally, vagrant individuals have also been recorded at the Chatham Islands. It is currently classified as endangered by the International Union for Conservation of Nature. Northern rockhopper penguins live on rugged coastlines and steep rocky cliffs. They build their nests in rock crevices, caves, or areas with coastal vegetation. They are known for their impressive climbing ability across rough terrain, earning them the name rockhopper penguins. Previously considered a subspecies of Eudiptes chrysocombe, they were recognized as a distinct species in 2006 under the scientific name Eudiptes moselleyi, separate from the southern rockhopper penguins. The southern rockhopper penguin, also known as the western rockhopper penguin, can be identified by its narrow yellow eyebrow stripe and short crest that extends only to the throat, distinct from the northern rockhopper, which has a longer crest. The southern rockhopper penguin has also become an iconic symbol of ecotourism. Its colonies on the Falkland Islands were popular attractions for sailors and travelers as far back as the 18th century. Even today, it remains the most well-known crested penguin species in popular culture. One of the least known penguin species is the Fiordland penguin. This species nests alone, or in small groups beneath dense coastal forest canopies, in rock crevices, or under large tree roots. This unique nesting behavior helps them avoid direct sunlight and reduce disturbances from predators. The Fiordland penguin is an exceptional long-distance marine traveler. During the non-breeding season, it can spend up to 75% of its time offshore, covering journeys of more than 6,000 kilometers in less than 3 months. They typically begin their breeding season in late winter, when they return to land. Also a penguin species native to New Zealand, the Snares penguin lives and breeds exclusively on the Snares Islands, located about 100 kilometers south of Stewart Island. It was once considered a subspecies of the Fiordland penguin, but has since been officially recognized as a separate species within the genus Eudiptes. This species is known to perch on overhanging tree branches up to 2 meters above ground, as a strategy to avoid egg or chick predators. Like most penguin species, each pair lays 2 eggs and tends to favor the second one, which can be up to 85% larger than the first, and often hatches first as well. Chicks from the first egg are typically weaker, less competitive, and in many cases are excluded, a phenomenon known as siblicide. The erect crested penguin is the last member of the crested penguin group and is listed as endangered by the International Union for Conservation of Nature, with a population of about 150,000 as of 2020. It breeds only on 2 isolated island groups in the South Pacific, the Bounty Islands and the Antipodes Islands. During breeding season, it nests on rocky coasts or gently sloped areas with sparse vegetation. Closely related to rockhopper penguins, it often shares nesting grounds with albatrosses and fur seals, forming unique multi-species communities in the South Pacific. The final genus, and one with a clearly distinct distribution, is Phoeniscus, found at lower latitudes. This genus is believed to have originated in South America and likely expanded northward along cold coastal currents in the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans. They are commonly referred to as banded penguins, named for the black stripe that runs across the chest, connecting with the dark back to form a belt-like pattern. All Spheniscus species nest in burrows or natural ground crevices. They are also known for their loud braying calls that resemble a donkey's, earning them the nickname jackass penguins. The Humboldt penguin and the ocean current it inhabits are both named after the explorer Alexander von Humboldt. This species is native to the western coast of South America, ranging from Isla Foca in Peru to the Pinihuil Islets near Chiloé, Chile. The distributions of the Humboldt and Magellanic penguins overlap, particularly in southern Chile, where they share access to cold coastal resources. A small number of individuals display albinism, lacking pigment in the bill, skin, and eyes, resulting in a rare, entirely white appearance. Magellanic penguins are true migratory birds. Some populations undertake long migrations from Peru southward, following anchovy schools, one of their primary food sources. Because of this, they are considered a vital ecological link in South America's marine ecosystem, playing a key biological role in the oceanic food web. Perhaps the most remarkable of all is the Galápagos penguin, a species found only on the Galápagos Islands, off the coast of South America and part of Ecuador. It holds the unique distinction of being the northernmost living penguin in the world, and the only one with part of its population residing north of the equator. So which species deserves to be called the global symbol of climate? The emperor penguin, breeding in Antarctica's winter, or the Galápagos penguin, surviving at the equator? In 2020, the International Union for Conservation of Nature classified the Galápagos penguin as endangered. Its population remains very small, with an estimated 1,200 mature individuals, fluctuating between 1,200 and 1,800 in total. Its decline is partly linked to the El Niño phenomenon, which caused population drops of up to 77% from 1982 to 1983 and 65% from 1997 to 1998. The final species is the African penguin, the only penguin species native to the African continent. It breeds and resides along the southwestern coast, from Namibia to South Africa. Its distribution closely follows the cold, nutrient-rich Benguela Current, which serves as a vital ecological foundation for coastal predators. Although once abundant, the African penguin population has declined drastically in recent decades. By 2023, the population had dropped below 10,000 breeding pairs. The International Union for Conservation of Nature has elevated its conservation status from endangered to critically endangered. And that brings us to all 19 penguin species still living in the world today. The big question is, what allows some penguins to thrive in subtropical environments, while others rely entirely on icy, frozen landscapes? Drop a comment below with your thoughts, follow the channel, and turn on notifications so you won't miss more fascinating surprises in our next video.